I know this sounds insane, people, but it actually happened. Baywatch made a sequel to a previous episode and sorta kinda attempted some continuity. This is hot on the heels of Baywatch Nights doing a direct follow-up to the episode where Mitch was psychically connected to an alien child via lightning strike. It's like I don't even know this brand anymore. Where is my lack of giving a shit? And, more importantly, who other than me will even remember the episode that this is a sequel to? Assuming that you, too, are a normal human being whose brain immediately dumps all Baywatch-related information for your own good, I'll summarize. Due to Caroline's repeated negligence, a bunch of drunk dudes set their boat on fire and one of them died. Overwrought with sexy PTSD, Caroline proceeds to turn into a leather-clad bad girl who hangs out with Neely's evil alcoholic biker club. Eventually, she comes to her senses, and I guess we're supposed to think the death was a genuine mistake on Caroline's part. Except for the fact she saw them twice earlier in the day and didn't do her job, which makes it entirely her fault. And maybe this episode agreed, because now she's being sued. While I think it's important that justice is served, I am a little confused as to why they thought we wanted to revisit this plot, and also a year later. Perhaps they assumed that people love boring trial episode clip shows, instead of the opposite. But hey, since that season 6 episode, a lot of things have changed. Stephanie died, Neely quit drinking.
Now I know why I quit drinking.
Angie Harmon and neighbor Dan got engaged, and Angie Harmon and neighbor Dan got unengaged. Also, the supernatural was confirmed as real. But one thing that hasn't changed is the audience's apathy toward Caroline's plight. Lucky for all of you trial episode fans, I have 2 scripts for this episode to fill you in on all of the trial episode fun facts you've been craving. Fittingly, before Trial by Fire, the title of this episode was The Trial, which is as equally uninteresting as the plot. And before that, it was called Extremes because I don't know. Other than that, the differences in the scripts versus the screen are pretty minor, such as character names changing slightly. For example, Keith Kirby was Keith Kellogg, which I find to be the funnier surname, and since this is Baywatch, could have ultimately been tied to a cereal sponsorship. But on the other hand, now we can pretend that he's related to the other Kirby, the heart of the team, and that in the future, he's gonna sue Eddie for killing him. And speaking of names, this wasn't in the script, but apparently Chris Fiore's character has been named Milton this whole time?
Hey, Milton. Hey, Mitch.
And I guess Mitch is also a robot. I don't know what to do with either piece of information. The biggest thing of note concerning the scripts I have is that while they're labeled as shooting scripts, both of them are incomplete and have Act 4 and Tag to Follow written on them, meaning they began shooting this before the ending was even written. It could have gone either way. Maybe Caroline was gonna go to jail since Yasmine Bleeth was out the door anyway. Oh yeah, I guess I should mention that this is her last episode as a regular. And after this, Caroline has 4 more uncredited appearances next season, plus the Hawaiian wedding movie.
What? I'm going out on a damn trial episode?
But before we get to that, hold on to your butts for the B plot of this episode. Cody loved bikes, but CJ loved baby?
Where did that baby come from?
You don't know where babies come from.
Of course I know where babies come from, CJ. The stork brings them, duh! CJ is babysitting for their neighbors, and she's got baby on the brain. Because, as she discussed with Stephanie last season, their biological clocks are ticking.
Oh, your biological clock is sending you messages.
So I guess for now, my biological clock's just gonna have to keep ticking. I definitely feel my biological clock ticking.
My biological clock is ticking.
And she knows how that went with Stephanie, so she'd better get a move on. Unfortunately, she has chosen Cody as the potential father of her children, a bullet that is only dodged due to Cody having less intelligence than the baby he's holding. Uh-oh, CJ, I pooped my diaper! Pamela Anderson says poopies, so enjoy that, fetishists.
Just poopies.
But Cody can't think about babies, for he has a bike race. And where is CJ and the baby when he needs their support? Nowhere! Now he just has to kiss main character Skylar and this random other lady on the mouth, as is normal. When Mr. Kellogg himself offers Cody a potential sponsorship deal, he's in a real pickle. As we see via montage, CJ is pro-baby and he is pro-bike. Will Cody choose bike or baby? Bike or baby, Cody! It's one or the other!
I think Cody and I have come to the end of our road.
And that's the end of that. I guess we'll never know what Cody chose. And I'm not sure they ever get back to the bike thing either. I guess that's done. Anyway, while Cody determines how many babies can fit on a single bike, here comes trouble. Caroline is about to be blindsided by the evil mom whose son got killed and her evil lawyer.
You're being sued for negligence in the death of Thomas O'Hara.
I'm sorry, I don't know anybody by that name. You might have the wrong person. You don't remember him? How could you forget?
You might remember him better as Cowboy.
Yeah, I guess Caroline didn't catch the guy's real name during that whole meaningful scene where she sat at his grave and promised she'd never forget him.
But I am never gonna forget you.
I don't know anybody by that name.
How could you forget?
Listen, lady, I got a lot of people killed. You're gonna have to be more specific. Actually, Caroline, she means that cowboy guy. Shut up, Stephanie! I would have figured it out eventually! Who the hell is that? Oh, just my overbearing sister. Don't worry about it. Your sister's a dog? She wasn't always a dog. She just got reincarnated as one. Yeah, idiot. Hey, listen, I'm gonna ghost out for a bit to visit Mitch on nights next week. Keep my dog body warm, will ya? I was nominated for an Oscar in 1957, you know. So the mom is suing the county/Caroline for negligence. She wants her to be banned from lifeguarding and to cough up $2 million. The episode takes this very complicated plot involving grief, PTSD, and the question of accountability, and basically boils it down to, isn't this lady such a bitch? Aren't all lawyers crooked and money hungry, and don't lifeguards have it tough enough? I mean, in some universe, this could have been a complex story about an honest mistake and the anger of grief. But listen, I watched that episode, and Caroline had 2 opportunities to stop those guys from using that boat while under the influence, and didn't so she could hang out and play paddle with Cody. Not to mention, there were other lifeguards on that rescue that failed to realize there was one more victim still in the water, which Mitch evades telling Captain Thomas about like some sort of corrupt police officer.
Which lifeguard's the name of the suit?
Just Caroline. Why, were there others involved?
Do you ever get the feeling there's just too many attorneys in the world?
You know what the real issue is? Frivolous lawsuits over every loser who dies at the beach. That's why Craig couldn't stay on the show. He was a greedy piece of shit who wanted to take every lifeguard that slacked off for all that they're worth. He was never really one of us.
Isn't he going to direct an upcoming episode of Baywatch Nights and then return to the show next season?
If he does, I'll be ready.
After an extended flashback of our heroes, Newman, Emmy Award-winning Shippy, Gregory Bonan's girlfriend, and also Caroline, we're introduced to Caroline's lawyer. He's the good lawyer, though, because he's representing a main character. We're told that he's the most qualified person in the county council's office, and an old friend of Mitch's, so we know he's a good guy and has a 50-50 chance of blowing up in the future. According to the script, Mitch was his rookie school instructor, because he's also a former lifeguard. Really laying it on thick that he is good guy and grieving mom is bad guy. Now, Caroline, I'm gonna need you to show me every single detail via flashback, and don't hold back. We really have to pad out the runtime.
I've seen enough clips. I can't take it anymore.
Believe it or not, the money is secondary to it.
So they just wanted to suffer. What is this, a personal vendetta?
I mean, kinda. She does hold Caroline personally responsible for her son's death. Hey, Carolyn, thanks for covering for me concerning, this whole negligent death thing. I can't go to prison, not with my perfect record.
I can't believe Stephanie did this to me!
I never knew your sister, but I sure heard a lot about her when I was working down in the South Bay. She was like a living legend down there. The name Stephanie Holden was synonymous with pride and guts and courage. Most importantly, professionalism. I'm just really sorry that it doesn't run in the family.
The case goes to arbitration, so technically speaking, there is no trial in trial by fire. There is a hilarious reveal that Newman apparently dunked on Caroline in a bunch of incident reports in the past, so that was pretty good. Anywho, the lawyer lady points out a lot of what I already mentioned here, but she says it kind of smugly, so we're meant to boo her.
They paid no attention to me. So you let them go, even though you suspected that they were intoxicated and might endanger themselves or other boaters.
Hold it! I'm calling in the main character lifeline!
Yep, she called in the main character lifeline. It's to the marina for a final showdown.
How many boys do you see?
I see 4.
Chris?
Oh, so now his name is Chris again? I declare a mistrial! And then Mitch's old lawyer friend laughs at the mom because they pretty much cinched the victory?
I've decided to drop my lawsuit.
I strongly advise you against doing that.
You were the one who pushed me into this.
See? Mitch was right. It was the evil lawyer's fault all along. Isn't it great when things wrap up in a nice little bow? Caroline has no responsibilities as a lifeguard. The end.
Next time on Baywatch Nights,
Mitch is possessed! Stephanie's ghost! Get ready for an all-timer, folks. How devilish.